Here for a custom wooden railway model. This one is Shiro. Shiro is a Japanese government railways class 5100 with that was originally built by Kitson Co in the early 1900s. But in the Gensokyo Railway Series, Shiro was not imported from Japan, but rather not imported from the outside world, rather, but was built in Gensokyo in the early 2010s, maybe slightly earlier than that, and was the second engine built for Gensokyo Railway, or railways, with the introduction of the narrow gauge line. Anyway, so this is an old 1997 Edward that I repainted, and this tender came from a 2003 Edward that I both bought separately off of eBay. I painted Shiro in this gray with silver lining. I decided to do Roman numerals for the numbering, just so that way they have a sense of originality to it. Anyway, Shiro is pretty much like Edward, except, is based off of a Japanese locomotive. Well, technically, it's designed by the British, built for the Japanese, but, whatever. Except, yeah, he's pretty much Edward, and fills in for Edward, except, Toho. So I added some details, such as the cab windows on the front, a red buffer beam. As you can see, there's still a little bit of blue, but that's mostly just from the painter's tape I put over to protect the black parts. As you can see, Shiro has gray wheels, and this is just an amazing model to make because I want to take the Gensokyo Railway Series and make them into a real model form. And starting with Shiro was an idea. I have a large collection of Thomases that I might convert into Ichihiro. I have this old beaten up derrick with the paint coming off. I'm going to convert them into Cobalt, which is a Japanese National Railways DE11. And Cobalt's name comes from not only the computing language, COBOL, but it also refers to his wheel arrangement, which is a Kobo wheel arrangement, meaning he has 3 powered axles in the front and 2 powered axles in the back, just like Boko. But I'll use Derrick's model because just like the BR Class 17s, the JNR DE11s had the cabs in the middle with the engine bits in the front and back. So that's what I'll probably use for Cobalt's model. There is also an old style Gordon that I bought a tender for that'll convert into Hiroto. I forget Hiroto's class. I think he's a C51. I know he's not a D51, but I think he's a class class 6900. Yeah, I think that might be it. Hiroto is the express engine, and I will paint this into a red and white paint scheme, which would be very reminiscent of the clothing worn by Shinto shrine maidens or Mikos. if you want the technical term, because Hiroto runs the express services between the Hakurai and Moria Shrine, and as such is the main express engine. Anyway, going back to Shiro, Shiro is a 440, hence why I chose Edward's model to be his model. And he is for mixed traffic purposes, but due to the age of his design, and even though he is, as far as steam engines are concerned, recently built, he is still, sometimes he has certain weaknesses pulling heavier loads. Sometimes has, I think one time his valve gear got messed up in Shiro's exploit, so he had to pull the train like a single. Yeah. Unlike Edward in the Railway series and the TV series, who has his own branch line, Shiro doesn't. I think the only engines that have their own branch line is Ichihiro, who runs the Yente branch line, which is the line that comes off the main line and through the bamboo forest of the Lost to Yente. Then there's Ahiru, who runs his own branch line between Meiohiga and I forget somewhere else, and Korindu, which you know what, actually now that I think of it, he does have his own branch line. That is the Korindu branch line, which goes through part of the Forest of the Lost, of the Forest of Magic, and would often see Marissa Creasam or Alice Murgatroyd at the Korindu platform. By the way, in the Gensokyo Railway Series, I do in fact ship Marissa and Alice. I'll call it Malice for the hell of it. And they do end up having a kid involving a plot involving Futanari pills that Irin Yakakoro made. So they have a kid named Takara. Now Takara, in the new Gensokyo Railway Series, which takes place 10 years into the future, he is now 10 years old, rides on Shiro's footplate, and gets scared because he is autistic. Only to prove himself that he's capable of being with and around and managing steam locomotives, hence his position in Joyride, where he hijacks one of the narrow gauge engines and with a couple of his fairy friends go out for a joyride on the narrow gauge railway line, going around the loop before being found out by Marissa and the Scarlet Controller herself, Ramilia Scarlet. Then Takara proves himself again by being the guard on Akira and Kiro's train, Kiro being Akira's brake van. Basically Oliver and Toad. Anyway, that concludes my custom one railway model. If people want, depending on what time and resources I have, I can convert one railway models into their Gensokyo one railway counterparts. Bye.